So if you clicked on this video, I'm going to assume one of two things. A, you clicked on here because you never heard of the T app and you want me to explain it. And then the second type of person I believe clicked on this video is someone who's already watched about 20 different other videos, and now I am their 21st T app video to see what my thoughts are. And if you are the latter half of that, my 10-second opinion on the matter is that the T app was a huge failure and there were no winners on both sides. Bye. Just kidding. But really though, the T app was a app designed for women to report different abusers, pedos, and rapists that they were dealing with at the time. So the app was created as a community to spread the word, to be aware of these type of men. And if I'm being honest, I completely believe that's a very noble cause by the owner, because I heard that he had a situation where I believe it was his mother who was going through, I believe she was going through an abusive relationship. So, that kind of fostered him to create the app. And for that, I applaud him. However, the way he initially pushed the app was that he got 10 to 15 TikTokers and had them create a fake story so that the app would get pushed more. And you have to think about it, these stories that these TikToks were making up were like fake abuse stories. So that's not going to set a positive introduction to your app, because it's like you are trying to promote women to speak out against their abusers, but you're over here promoting these TikTokers to create fake stories, and it's just like you're not being genuine at all. So that's the first issue. And then to follow up, the women who actually gain access to these apps, instead of reporting these men who they were in very toxic relationships with onto the app and spread the word to other women, the the things that they talk about are just it's just plain gossip about the men having no money, small penises, doesn't perform well in bed. Like, it's just very non-insignificant things, and that really is what derailed the app for a lot of people, and especially for the men on the outside looking at what the women are saying. It's like the app was created for this specific purpose, but then the women actually gain access to the app and then proceed to just do the complete opposite. And I will say this, the name of the app does not help. Why? I just don't understand like the name of the app, when like considering what the actual purpose of that app was intended for. Like, that just doesn't really make much sense to me. And then another thing I have to speak about before I get into the two main issues is that, first, why were the women that I saw like on the app via like TikTok and things of that nature, like TikTok, YouTube, why were they wanting to quote unquote fix the guys in which the other women were trying to warn you about? It's like the women on the app just got on there just to look for the next boyfriend, like, which is actually kind of hilarious to think about. It's just so not the purpose of the app. It's actually hilarious. But that leads me into the main part of this video, which is the men's response to seeing the women talk badly about them. And the men do not win either. This is why the title is what the title is. This is why the thumbnail is what the thumbnail is. There were no winners in this situation whatsoever. The men decided to retaliate, and that's something that was, bound to happen, just because, men and women conflicts is just something that happens. But what these men decided to do, well, I don't know if it was the men specifically, but what men specifically decided to do was dox the women on the app. Because if those of you who somehow don't know, in order to gain access into the app, you needed, well, at first it was a selfie. You needed to do like a selfie, and then it would get like some sort of human review. And, they determined that, your photo was real or whatever, then they accepted you into the app. However, I guess since the app started getting so much traction, it was the perfect opportunity for them to take even more data by having the women upload, their driver license pictures, and then have that for human verification. Dumbest thing ever, by the way, for the women to do that and think that it was a good idea. Like, this is not a federal app. This is not some sort of government app where, the data will be extremely secured and that, your information can at least be somewhat safe, at least with the federal government. This is just a regular app that's AI coded. So you are uploading a picture of your ID to a AI programmed app that doesn't have the proper database security to keep your information secured. So what ended up happening was that there was a huge data leak, and it had everybody's driver's license from all over the country. And it's just like, this was so easily preventable if everybody involved just act like adults. And this is why I say, like, adults, a lot of adults are just a bunch of big ass kids. They're just a bunch of big ass kids who have the ability to, do whatever they want. They're not bounded to anybody's rules. I mean, I guess for societies, but I mean, obviously there's a data leak, so obviously they don't care about the rules of society. But yes, it was just a huge mess. Nobody won. I mean, yeah, just nobody won. It was just highly disappointing from both sides. It's just everybody's just acting like kids. Women talking bad about the men. Men are leaking the women's data. So it's not really a safe space for anybody on the app. Nonetheless, no safe space on the internet in general. But yeah, I'm just extremely disappointed, in the human race once again. But I still have faith, man. I still have faith we can eventually get it all together, work in unison, get rid of these extremely petty gender wars. Like, I just can't wait for the day that we can all just, be a society once again. That's all I want. Let's just be a society, man. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And I say this after every video I make, but my goal is to be way more consistent than what I currently am. So my apologies if the upload frequency has not been, where it should be. I am actively working on that. So I appreciate the patience with that. But with that being said, peace.